Welcome to the Coaching Table. I'm Thomas Thompson, Executive Leadership Coach and Consultant with Lead Self, Lead Others. And the Coaching Table is a weekly conversation I've curated to help leaders like you have the conversations that you're not having so we can keep your story moving forward. Today's conversation centers around clarifying your calling. I'm a little tired today because I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning in Denver last night with my son at the CONCACAF League finals between USA and Mexico. It was crazy. It was a crazy game, and it really came down to two important calls that the ref had to make. And in both those cases, USA got a penalty kick and Mexico got a penalty kick. USA made theirs, Mexico did not make theirs, and that was all the difference. The game ended 3-2. Oh, it was a wild time, and I was fascinated by how the referee made those calls, because in both of those situations, he had to go to something called a VAR, Video Assisted Review. You see, in both these situations, the ref couldn't clearly see the play, and so what he would do is he would go over to the sideline, and he would call upstairs to the guy in the booth who had video of the whole event. And the guy in the booth would watch it and give pointers and show the video to the guy on the ground, and he came out and made his calls. And the game came down to that. And so the game's outcome was determined by those decisions. Sometimes when I'm working with a client or a leader who is facing some kind of transition or is questioning, maybe exploring some kind of career change, they get stuck because they can't see. Usually they get stuck and they can't see in one of two ways. Either they look back at their own experience and they look back at their own resume and it just feels so narrow that they can't see doing anything else besides what they've done. Or sometimes it goes to the opposite side where the possibilities out there just seem so endless. It's so wide out there that I don't even know where I would start. And with these leaders, sometimes we get stuck on what do I want to do? What does God want me to do? And I take it back, and there's a question I often ask I found is very helpful, and I want to give it to you this week. And the question is this: who are the people you want to spend your time with, and what are the conversations you want to have with them? Who are the people that you want to spend your time with, and what are the conversations that you want to have with them? I find that question is helpful to get us thinking outside the box a little bit when we can't see what's right ahead. I think this question comes straight from the life of Jesus Christ, as he was often challenged and questioned, and it was curious to people about with whom did he spend his time and what did he want to talk about. Jesus intentionally spent his time with people. He said, I came here to spend time with the lost. I came here to eat with sinners. He saw Zacchaeus in a tree and he said, come down, I'm going to have dinner with you today. And then when it came to what he wanted to talk about, his favorite topic was the kingdom. He wanted to talk about the kingdom. He wanted to talk about who God was. He wanted to talk about why he came. Who are the people you want to spend your time with? And what are the conversations that you want to have with them? As I began to answer that in my own life in the last few years of my own transition, I started to center around really three topics. I want to talk with people who want to leverage their leadership. I want to talk with people who are seeking city transformation. And I want to talk with people who are facing some kind of transition. That's who I get most excited about spending my time with. And then when I think about those people and I think about what do I want to talk about, I want to talk about self-leadership. I want to talk about city flourishing. And I want to talk with them about navigating that transition to get where God wants them to go. I'd like to encourage you to take that own question in your life today. Who are the people you want to spend your time with? And what do you want to talk about with them? Let that be your coaching table question for today. And even if you're not considering a transition, just as you're thinking about the second part of your life or this next phase of your life, these are good questions to begin to use. Take them to the man in the booth upstairs. Pray through them and see if God doesn't begin to use that question to begin to focus you towards clarifying your calling. Well, I'll be back next week with another conversation about leading ourselves well. And until then, you're always welcome at the coaching table.